So let's review the payroll entries that a company needs to make. There are three different types of payroll entries. Here's the first one. So for the gross amount, the whole amount of employees' salaries and wages, the company will debit salaries and wages expense for that gross or whole amount. And then the credits here that you see to each of these payable accounts, these represent the amounts withheld from the employee's paycheck that are going to be turned over to Social Security for the FICA taxes, to the federal government for the federal taxes, to the state for the state income taxes, and to the United Way for a charitable donation. So all of the amounts withheld from the employee's paycheck represent a liability for the company because the money doesn't belong to them. They owe it to the taxing authorities and to the United Way. So that's why we're crediting the various payable accounts. And then our last credit for $605 in this example is to salaries and wages payable. And this is going to be the take-home pay for the employee. So the amount that we're going to cut his or her paycheck for. And companies usually record payroll entries before they cut the checks, and that's why all of these amounts are going into payable accounts, because we haven't paid them yet, but we're going to. So again, this figure here, the difference between the 1,000 and all of the amounts withheld from the employee's paycheck is the net amount or the take-home pay. So then when the company does cut the paychecks, they'll debit salaries and wages payable and credit cash. And when the company sends in all of the amounts withheld from the employee's paycheck, the FICA taxes, the federal income taxes, the state and United Way contribution, all of those liability accounts get debited and cash credited as well. Now the second type of entry related to payroll that a company needs to record is for payroll tax expense. So payroll tax expense is debited for the taxes that the employer has to pay. So remember, back on the previous slide earlier, we debited salaries and wages expense for the gross amount of the employee's salary, and then we withheld all of the employee's taxes. But now the company has to pay taxes too, and the company's taxes are debited to payroll tax expense. So the company has to pay 7.65% FICA tax, just like the employee has to pay 7.65% FICA tax. So both employee and employer are paying the same amount in FICA taxes. And the employer also has to pay unemployment taxes. And any time that I tell you about unemployment taxes in a payroll problem, always know they're paid 100% by the employer, by the company. So always those are going to get debited to payroll tax expense. And you'll see I credited liability accounts because we're not paying those payroll taxes now, but we're going to, and until we pay them, we're putting them here into a liability account. So the third entry that companies need to make related to payroll is for benefits. So if a company helps employees by paying part of a health insurance premium or dental premium or whatever, that amount that the company pays for the benefits gets debited